Hey guys, Nabil here. Hope everyone is doing great. Alright, so Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. It's still a few months away, but I can't wait for this title. As you know, if you follow on the channel, I was in Germany during Gamescom and I got to play the game for about 4 days straight, every single day, and I am in love with this game. I cannot wait for it to release. Now during Gamescom, we also got a lot of information about the game, the modes, the online, but also the roster. We have an idea, or we know for sure the size of the roster, which gives us a very good idea and the ability to maybe properly guess the rest of the roster, and this is exactly what we're gonna do in this video. But before we do that, I would really appreciate if you click on that like button, because it tremendously helps the channel and tells me that you guys want to see more content like this. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so far, from all the trailers we had, all the announcements, we know that Fatal Fury City of the Wolves has 11 characters that have been confirmed, right? And these are, obviously, we have Terry Bogard, Rock Howard, B. Janet, Marco Rodriguez, Preacher, Hotaru, Vox Reaper, Tizok or the Griffin, Kevin Ryan, Billy Khan, and Mai Shiranui. So these are 11 characters, and we know that the launch roster is going to have 17 characters and then 5 extra DLC characters that are going to be released in the first year of the game. The game is, by the way, going to have, so far, for now, there are 3 years of DLC planned by SNK so far. So the game is going to be at least supported for 3 years with DLC characters. So this is going to be more, of course, than the King of Fighters 15. Now let's talk about the launch roster first, before we talk about the DLC. Now for the launch, as I said, 11 characters are confirmed out of the 17. So you're gonna say, well, that means there's still 6 unknown characters. Well, not really. We know 3 for sure that are coming in the game because of the first trailer when we heard the voices. First, we have Gato. Gato's voice, we've heard it before, he is confirmed pretty much for this game. Following Gato, we have Hokutomaru. Hokutomaru, who was a child in the previous game, Mark of the Wolves, sounded in the first trailer that he is kind of like a teenager. He's a little bit older, so it's going to be a new look for Hokutomaru, alright? And then we have Kain. Kain, it's not Kane, by the way, as if you've seen my interview with game producer Yasuki Oda and Joshua Weatherford, you see that he's Kain, just like Billy Khan, not Billy Kane, and Kain. Kain is, of course, Rock Howard's uncle and the boss of the previous game. And we know he's playable because we do hear his voice, and we've seen probably that's the character we saw sitting or standing close to Rock Howard in that first poster. Alright, so those are 3 more. So now we are at 14. That means there are 3 characters left. There are 2 more characters that are going to be in the game. Not sure if it's going to be launch roster or DLC, and that's Joe Higashi and Andy Bogard. We have seen them in the second poster, which probably means they are launch roster as well. So we're gonna pretend they are launch roster because they are in that second poster. If that's the case, that leaves 1 character that we don't know yet coming at launch. Who could it be? It could be a brand new character. I mean, we have Vox Reaper, we have Preacher, maybe there's another character. However, I would like to see someone from the Fatal Fury 3 era. And the reason I say that is because in the story here, the story of the game is supposed to be a conclusion to the Fatal Fury lore, and Fatal Fury 3 has the much of the lore of the entire franchise actually in Fatal Fury 3, believe it or not, and that's because of the introduction of the Scrolls of Immortality. The Scrolls of Immortality are very important to the entire saga because it's the main thing of the Fatal Fury. And if you want to know more about the lore and the story behind these Scrolls of Immortality, make sure to check my Fatal Fury story explained, the first part that was out, and it all talks about the origins of the Scrolls as well as Geese Howard's, who he is and how he rose to power. Link is in the description, make sure to check that out. So I'm hoping to see one of the Jin brothers, right? Maybe one of the Jin brothers will be great. There's another character who was actually from Fatal Fury 3 and he's mentioned in my Shiranui's story bio in the website, and that's Kisokaku Mochizuki has been mentioned. I would love to see him come back with maybe a bit of an overhaul to his gameplay. Could it be him? Maybe. Now we have other 2 characters that are probably in the game because we've seen their silhouettes in Terry's stage in the Mount Rushmore-esque mountain, and that's Krauser and Lawrence Blood. Now Krauser, I wouldn't think he's gonna be a character in the launch roster. Let's face it, he's a great character. I really hope he's in the game, but I don't think he's gonna make it at launch. However, Lawrence will be a great addition, and that's because in the lore, after Geese's death, actual death, because he truly did die, it was Billy Khan who took over the organization. On the Krauser side, when Krauser supposedly killed himself, that's what we know, it was Lawrence Blood who took over his organization. And again, in the lore, both Billy and Lawrence hate each other. So it will be great to see that plot further developed here, the rivalry between Lawrence and Billy. Again, all speculation, but let's talk a little bit about the DLC. So we have 5 characters that are planned for the first year of DLC. Now remember that Street Fighter 6 is getting 2 characters, so I am guessing that Fatal Fury will have the same. We'll have 2 Street Fighter characters in Fatal Fury. There's no way Street Fighter 6 is getting Terry and Mai, while Fatal Fury is not going to have any of these DLC characters. Maybe it's not in the first year, maybe it's going to happen in the second year, but since this just happening, I think it makes sense for it to be close to the Street Fighter 6 DLC. And if that's the case, that's probably Ryu and Chun-Li. Hopefully it's not Luke. I don't like Luke. Hopefully it's Ryu and Chun-Li, but let's see. So for me, I'm already removing 2 characters from that DLC that are not going to be Fatal Fury characters. That leaves 3, and there is one thing that I noticed in the release schedule for the DLC. 2 characters are going to be released at the same time or time frame, and that only means for me that these are probably going to be the Kim brothers, the Kim sons, Kim Jae-hoon and Kim Dong-won. You can't have one without the other. And I think people will not be happy if we have the first DLC is Kim, and then Kim Jae-hoon, and then after 2 months it's Kim Dong-won. People may complain. They're like, well, it's both, they're both kind of like the same. They're not really the same, but I mean, they look the same, kind of, same style, not really. Anyway, so maybe I think the solution to that will be to just release them both at the same time for, instead of having 1 DLC, you guys have 2, and it's the Kim brothers. I think that makes more sense. And that leaves 1 character. And in my opinion, that's probably going to be Krauser. I think Krauser is going to be in that first DLC roster. And I think if that truly happens, that will be a great roster because it will have people from everywhere. And I still want to add other characters. I really want characters, as I said, I want Duck King. I really hope Duck King is in the launch roster. I really want him to be in the launch roster. Duck King is amazing. And we've seen the Ducklings in Terry's stage. So hopefully Duck King is in there. I also want to see Hanfu. Hanfu was a great character in Fatal Fury 3, and I really want him to make a comeback. So maybe he's gonna be in there. So as I said, I have a lot of ideas of characters that are going to make it, but now seeing the roster 22 and including DLC, probably removing 2 characters for Street Fighter, it kind of, unless Street Fighter is gonna be a different thing, it's gonna be after the 5 characters. Maybe, I don't know. And honestly, I hope so. I hope Street Fighter characters will come later because I still want to see many Fatal Fury characters make a comeback. Some legacy characters, the Jin brothers, Sokaku, Hanfu, just so many characters I want to see come back. Cheng Xin-zan even. I want to see Cheng Xin-zan. But let's see. But this is just all speculation, and I think we're having a good idea now on which characters we're gonna have, at least for the launch roster. We pretty much know 16 out of the 17th if we count in Andy and Joe. And that last one, I'm hoping it's Duck King or someone, Jin brothers, Jin Chonchu, for example, or Chonrei. I think that'll be great. So what do you guys think about this speculation? Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Which other characters do you really want to see make a comeback in the first year, including the launch roster and the first season DLC? As I said, the game is officially going to be supported for at least 3 years. I think that's great. That's fantastic. That means we're gonna have a lot. Probably the majority of the characters are gonna come in, because if you count in 5 characters per season, that's 15 characters. Again, remove 2 Street Fighters, maybe another guest character even, and you have at least 12 characters. 12 extra characters are going to be added, and, you know, that's enough to cover every single Legacy Fatal Fury character and even the missing ones from Mark of the Wolves. Okay, well, there you have it. If you guys enjoyed this video, big shout out to the channel's patrons and premium subscribers who are supporting this channel, and big thank you for the support. Anybody who wants to help the channel, become a patron or a premium subscriber, link is in the description below, or press on the join button below this video. Until next time, thank you guys for watching.